Hello, welcome to the School of Computing Science and Engineering, Galgodias University. I am Priyanka, Assistant Professor in School of Computing Science and Engineering. This video is for the course Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency. The course code is CSPL 3050. In this particular video, we'll talk about the blockchain and the blockchain network. Now, before understanding the Bitcoin, we need to understand the basics of blockchain, as because Bitcoin is based on the blockchain network. So, the objective of understanding this lecture is to understand what is blockchain and what is its need. And we'll also talk about the benefits of blockchain over centralized system. And then what are the core components of blockchain and what are the elements of the block. Let's first understand what is a blockchain. So it's an open distributed ledger that can record transaction between two parties in an efficient, verifiable and permanent way. As you can see here, there is a picture of a register which is like a ledger. So earlier what happened is if we need to store some data related to our business or related to anything, we store it in manually in a register with the form of a pen. But now, and that is centralized, being there at a single location. But now, all because of the blockchain network and online system, we can make a ledger online, which is now blockchain is helping us out to make an open distributed ledger. Why we are calling it as distributed? Because it is not located at one single location. It is not at one centralized place. It is available at all the nodes who are involved in the network, and they can record the transactions between two parties. That too in a verifiable manner. The transactions which are being added are being verified first, and then they are added permanently in the blockchain network. So that's the definition of blockchain network. It is an open distributed ledger which works in peer-to-peer manner, and it is permanent. Now let's understand what is centralized, decentralized, and distributed. So centralized is that there is only one single node, one central node, and it's like a client and server. All the blue nodes are like the clients, and this is server. So there is only one server which is having all the data, and all the clients for any communication, for any if they want to access any data, they need to contact the server for the communication. So everybody is dependent on this centralized server, which creates a problem because if this node fails or if somebody hacks it because of any natural disaster, the data get lost, so all the clients will not be able to access the data. So dependency on a single node creates a lot of problem. So nowadays we are rather than centralized architecture, we are moving on to decentralized and distributed. Now, decentralized says that rather than creating a single node, we will create multiple nodes, and the like few of the nodes will access from here, few of the nodes will access from this, and few of the nodes will access from this, so that if this one fails, at least this system will fail. The whole system will not fail. And if one will hack this node, still the other nodes are working. And if there is any change, they can communicate with each other. So this is a decentralized network. Now, blockchain, as we say, it's a distributed, decentralized network. So, what is distributed? It says that the server are distributed, and any node can connect to any of the server node to access the data. And there is no way defined that this is the way to access the data. So, it is distributed all over the network. Okay, so here we are in the blockchain, we are saying that the ledger is distributed. So ledger is just like a database. So blockchain is actually storing the data in the database, and it is updated independently at each node, right? So that's why we call it as distributed, because if there is a single change on the network, that will be propagated to all the nodes of the network, so that every node will have the identical copy of the ledger at every point of time. Right, so if there is any single change at any particular node, it will just inform others that there is a change, so that others may also append that change and everybody is on the same stage at every point of time. Okay, and here the distribution is unique. That means every records are not communicated to various nodes by a centralized authority. The one who is doing the change will actually communicate it. Right, so the distributed ledger term is being used with blockchain. Now, why there is a need of blockchain? There are so many problems with the centralized systems. That's why we have moved to blockchain, which is a decentralized distributed architecture. With centralized system, we cannot fully trust the centralized node, because if the centralized node is fake or somebody has hacked it, so it's not trusted. It does not offer full security because only one node is there and hacker can easily hack it. So it does not provide full security and is not concerned with privacy issue. Another flaw is transactions are complex and costly, because if there is only centralized one single centralized server, so every client node will be accessing this only. So the response time will be too high. The transactions are complex and it will take so much of time. And it is prone to human error and fraud, because any fraud can occur. Inefficient, as because in centralized system intermediaries are needed. As like if suppose we talk about a bank example, so this is a centralized system, so bank authority intermediary is required. Then frequent delays and losses, as because everybody is asking for the same centralized node, so it takes a lot of time. So there is a lot of delay. No transparency in the system, because they have their own defined rules. They will not show it to others. So all because of these flaws, we have moved to the technology of blockchain. And we talk about the advantages of blockchain. So peers will have a single shared ledger, as we have seen. Right, we have talked about a distributed ledger. That is one advantage. The other advantage is it's a smart contract. What is a smart contract? Contract is when two parties needs to do a business, so they do a contract. They sign a contract in which all the rules and regulations regarding their business is being mentioned, and both the parties agrees and do the signature. So now we are saying in blockchain the contract is smart. Whatever application we are building, we'll make a contract for the same, which will just say the rules and regulations of all of that application. And now we are saying it's a smart, all because for that contract we'll write a program, right? We'll do a coding, and that program will itself execute whenever there is a need to validate a transaction or to do any change in the database of the blockchain. So the contract will execute itself to judge that whether to validate it or not. So it's a smart thing, right? Next is owner of the transaction has the power to move anything freely, right, and instantly, because there is no need of any kind of intermediaries. So the cost which we spend for the intermediaries is being saved, and the problems, the issues which may occur because of this intermediary is not here. Another is eliminates or reduces paper processes. We don't need to do any paper process. It is working online, and it is a transparent network, right? So these are the advantages of blockchain over centralized system. Now let's talk about the blockchain basics. So many people think that Bitcoin is blockchain and blockchain is Bitcoin. No, it's not like that. Bitcoin is a digital currency. It's a virtual cryptocurrency, which is based on the blockchain network, right? So it's not a Bitcoin. Now, blockchain was invented by Satoshi Nakamoto when in the year 2008, when he published his white paper, right? So this is the copy of that white paper where we can find out that what he has written as an abstract for the very first time, and that's what that from where this blockchain started. Okay, now if you talk about the blockchain generation, blockchain 1.0 is actually Bitcoin, because blockchain started with the Bitcoin. Then in second generation of blockchain, the advancement in the technology created the smart contracts, which allows any application to be implemented on blockchain. One example, one platform for blockchain 2.0 generation is Ethereum. Now with blockchain 3.0, we actually have an open chain access, cloud node, and blocklet, and we do have incentives for evolution. So these are the benefits which are being embedded into the blockchain 3.0. There are so many examples of blockchain third generation. One such example is Arcblock, and another example could be Hyperledger. So just see, this is how a blockchain is being worked. A new block has been created like this, and that is being added to the blockchain. So this is how a complete chain is being created. Okay, now if we talk about the core components of blockchain architecture, so we have a node. Node is any user or any computer which is involved in the process of blockchain building is called a node. Now a transaction. Before that, let's discuss a chain and a block. So as we have seen that a chain is being created between multiple blocks just to combine them together. So this is how a complete blockchain is being built. Now, if we talk about a block, so block is actually consist of, it's a group of multiple transactions. So multiple transactions are being grouped together to make a block. Now, what is a transaction? So it's the smallest building block of the blockchain system, which is for any purpose of record or information which we want to maintain in the blockchain system. So that is carried in the transaction, right? So transaction is the smallest element which are grouped together to make a block, and then block are combined together to make a blockchain. So these are the terms. Now, what is a miner? Miner is just a specific node which is doing the task of mining. Now, mining is actually the block verification process. That means when we need to add any transaction to the network, we need to first verify it. And the one who will verify it is called the miner. And the process of verifying it is called mining. Another important term in blockchain network is consensus. Consensus is the rule and arrangement that will just depict that how the operations in the blockchain network will be carried out. Okay, so that's the basic term in blockchain network. Now this is how a blockchain, this is the elements of the blockchain network. If the blockchain network is being divided into two parts, block header and block body part. In the block header part, we have to give the block version, then we have to give the parent block hash. So this is suppose my 20th block. So this 20th block will carry the address of 19th block, and the address of the hash of 20th block will be stored in the 21st block. This is how a chain is being maintained, right? Then at what time this block has been created is being recorded in timestamps. Number of bits is the total size of the block. Then Merkle root hash is how it is being made, like multiple transactions are being recorded into the system. So if suppose two transactions are there, so for these two transactions, hash are being created corresponding to each transaction. Now the hash of multiple transactions are combined together to make a common hash. That is called the Merkle tree root hash. If suppose we have 10 transactions, so 10 different hashes would be there. So two would be combined together to make the hash, and then they would be combined together. Finally, a root is being formed using the multiple hashes, and that is we call it as Merkle root hash. So that is a hash of the transaction. Now in the block body part, we have a transaction counter which tells that these many transactions are there, and for every transaction a hash is being stored. So in the body part, these all the things are there. Now what happens is using all the information which is being stored in the block, using all these information, we create a hash out of it, right? So hash is just a cryptography process which is generating a hash out of these values. Now just see what are the properties of hash. It says hash should be of fixed length. Like if suppose we say 24 bits hash should be generated. Now same data will always need to map to same hash. If the data is all the time same, it will create a same hash. It's infeasible to create hash to data. We cannot like from data we can get the hash, but from the hash we cannot get the data, right? So this is impossible. And if you just do a simple change in any of these bits, in any of these data, the hash will change, right? And a valid hash contains three zeros at the beginning. And how we are calculating the hash, it is composed of the all the values which are there in the block part. Now we say that all these values are fixed, like block version is fixed, timestamp would be fixed, and number of bits would be fixed. So using all these values, if suppose we have generated a hash and which is not satisfying the property of the hash, suppose this one, that the in the beginning three zeros are not there. So how we can get this? There is one bit NONC which we can change, and like this is number once generated, once used. So this is a random number which is being generated just to satisfy the properties of hash, and we can satisfy all the properties of the hash because all the rest of the elements are fixed. Only this is the thing which can be changed at the programming time just to satisfy the properties of the hash. So this is how a hash is being created. And just see an example. Suppose all these data are here in for the block. From that, a hash is being generated. Now, the very first block is called the Genesis block. In the Genesis block, the previous hash is zero because there is no earlier block. The hash of first block is being stored as a previous hash in the second block. Now using all these values, the data of the second block plus the hash of the first block, we get the second hash which is being stored as the third hash. Now we say that blockchain is immutable because of this feature. If suppose I did some change in this data, so as I said, if there is a single change, a small change in the data will actually change the hash. So because of this small change, the hash will change, and this hash will be propagated to the next, with because of which the next hash will change, and the next hash will be propagated further. So like this, if there is any single change in any of the block data, that will change the hash of all the further blocks. And if suppose we have hundreds or thousands of nodes in the network, and if a hacker wants to hack something, wants to change something, so he cannot do on thousands of nodes or millions of nodes. He can just change maybe 10 or 15 or maybe few of the hundred of the nodes. He cannot change all the nodes. Now, as the hacker could not change all the nodes, there would be very limited nodes which will have the wrong copy of the hashes. So others will deny that this is not the correct copy of the hash, so this is wrong, and they may deny it and they may exclude it. So by this property, we call it as the blockchain is immutable. The changes in any of the block cannot be stayed for longer because the other peer nodes will just deny it that this is not the correct copy of the ledger. Okay, so that's it for this lecture. These are the references from where you can find out more detail about the blockchain, like 101 blockchain, blockchaindemo.io, and www.blockchain.com.